with its 10th year coming up, can we see the Smiler at the heart of the UK, Staffordshire, Alton Towers? Can we see it being removed anytime sooner? Now, with the recent closure of Nemesis and how that's being retracked, it's not quite closing, but yet again, it's not quite reopening yet until 2025 when it's 30. Do you think there is a plan for the Smiler to get renewed? Now, I can tell you for a fact that the Smiler's paint job has been absolutely appalling. It's got rust on every single turn, in every single bend in the metal. There's just rust. You can see it. Not even Oblivion, like all the way up there, next to the Smiler in X sector, has got that much rust on. Now, if there was a competition to be so Fliss says, if there is a competition to be the first ride to Nemesis, I'm signing up straight away. I'm beating you to it. I'm joking. No, and if there is a competition, I'm signing up. Yes, we're signing up. Yes, if I win, I'll give it to you anyways, because you know I've got Merlin passes, so you know. Anyways, going back to the Smiler. So with the Smiler takeover starting in just 3 days, where the Smiler will be taking over Alton Towers and different areas of the park. That's what has been released today, so we do not know what will happen, but what I do know is the Smiler will be annoying. Yes. Now, we also know that the Smiler will be taken over Forbidden Valley, where the Galactica site is. Now, Nemesis is currently not even there, so the only thing they have to focus on is Galactica and have that theming, but still, it's going to be a Smiler version, so you know. The Smiler. Now, the Smiler replaced the Black Hole in X Sector, and the Black Hole was an indoor roller coaster. It was the first of its kind, but unfortunately had to be removed from the park because it had safety issues to it. When it had these safety issues, it was like, we can't afford it anymore. That's what Alton Towers basically did. So what they did is they dug underground. So once it was removed in 2012, because before it was just a tent, because it was an indoor roller coaster, the Black Hole was, it was a tent and it was used for scare mazes, and then it was left there for literally like some months, and then in 2012 it got removed, and the construction started around it. So when this advertisement was released about this new ride, it was about smiling, and you have to keep your smile and you have to open your heart to joy. So when this was released, many people were mind-boggled on what they could see. Now, the original plans for this coaster, as we may know, it is the only coaster with 14 inversions. It's broke the world record, and it's been the world record breaker for at least 10 years. Merlin, yes. So, because nobody has had the guts. Okay, yeah, same thing. Nobody's had the guts to literally go out there and build a 15 looping roller coaster, a 16 looping roller coaster, because the amount of track, no matter how many space you have, I've tried this on Planet Coaster too, you just need to do inversion after inversion after inversion until you get at least more than 14 loops. Now, my initial thing is that you can't have more than 14 loops or it will be a risk of life. I do not know, but that's what I think, because the G-forces are a bit too high. But G-forces is when the coaster turns, and if it goes too quick, necessarily you can snap your neck, or you can have whiplash, or yeah, you just don't want high G-forces. Now, the max G-forces in the UK that any roller coaster has is 4.9 Gs. Now, the only attraction I know is that has 5 Gs, which is Samurai at Fort Park, which used to be in Chessington, but is a flat ride, and it's like a spinning. I think it's a spinning Vekoma. Yeah, that spinning Vekoma thing. Anyways, that's not the point. The Smiler. So, when they started advertising it, the construction started going, and what they did to make room, because Alton Towers have a height restriction of tree height, so no coaster can go past tree height, and if it does just a little bit, they have to paint the track green. Hence why Rita has green track. It's not just for theming, it's because it can't be seen from like miles away. it has to be camouflage, so that's why Rita's track's green, so it's camouflaged into the trees behind it. So Alton Towers is sneaky and they build down. So the Smiler is basically not ground level, it is built down. Hence why when you go, you have to walk down these steps at the queue line because it is built down. Now, the initial feeling of the Smiler is the spider in the it's like the correction machine in the middle, which is a big screen, and the screens get stayed on. Unfortunately, yes, I have to tell you that the screens do stay on as long as also the Wickerman also has screens that stay on. The fire screens inside the Wickerman stay on during like the whole season. They can't turn it off if there's sync issues. And then the station is like an old abandoned warehouse, but it's themed to a Smiler. Now, on departure of the station, you get onto the ride. The cars are yellow, black, and then you have these lights at the top. Now, when this car starts, when the ride starts, these lights flicker to make you like brainwash or something. I don't know. It's like it's meant to give that effect of you're about to go into some correction and you're about to have experiments. That's what it's meant to be like. And as you like depart and go into the first inversion, which is actually inside the station, that's how they sneaked it on. So what you see on the outside isn't 14 loops; it's actually 13. So you enter your first inversion, and the person, it's like a robotic voice that says "Join us." Join us is the logo for the Smiler, because once you've been marmalised, once you've come off this ride, they say you've been marmalised, and you've basically joined them. On the advertisement when it was released, they also say "Join us" because this guy on the advertisement literally had like all these spirals in his eyes because it's like the logo and it's meant to marmalise you, it's meant to brainwash you, it's made to make you smile. Wonder where that's seen. So that being in mind, it's speculation time. Now, the past of Smiler has been very. It's had the worst incident in the world could ever seen, and it was made possible. It's like the worst was made possible, and it was due to human error. Now, a car was going up the track, and it stopped, not knowing that there was also a test car that went around the track, and then there was another car with other people on that went around the track. Now, the car with people on got stuck because of high winds on the Heartline Road, and the operators, the engineers, put on a new car, and then when this new car was added, the person who was operating the ride thought that that was the car with people on it, so they loaded people up, and that went up the ride, and then the ride stopped at the top. The operator did not see the other car basically like stop working. It was still on the track on the Heartline Roll. So what they did is they overrided the system and they went, well, I can't see any issues, so let's get this car off. So what they did is they overrided the system. I've just said that twice. I'm going to say it again. They overrided the system and they made the car that was on the top of the lift hill that stopped go round the track, and it crashed into the other car. And then there was like 2 people amputated legs. It was the worst crash in history, trust me, and that was an opening year, 2013. Now, with that troublesome year, they've just recovered from what seemed to be... No, that was in 2016, sorry. The crash was 2016. And what we could see is the Smiler could be going in another 10 years. I think the max limit for the Smiler is like 20 years. There is a lot to engineer on that ride. The crash happened in 2015. I thought it's 2016. Because they closed Nemesis Subterra. They closed Charlie Chocolate Factory. What else? They closed many other rides. It was definitely 2016, unless it was 2015. And yeah, they paid a price for it basically. The crash paid like millions. They had to close so many attractions because the park became so unpopular. It was real bad. That's when Nemesis Tower closed, and then it's reopening this year. But we don't know when. Anyways, that's for another time. So for the future for Smiler, I could see it going in another 10 years, at least being retracked. Now, our only thoughts is, will the Smiler be retracked to the exact same model? Will it still have that 14 loops, or will it be a different concept and it will no longer have the world record for the most loops in the world? Knowing Merlin, they will keep it as the 14 looping roller coaster, knowing that there won't be another crash. But don't know, can't tell you. It seems really risky. Now this year, in 3 days, wow, it's the Smiler's 10th anniversary, and what they've done is they've made Festival of Thrills and they've based it around Smiler, like I've already said. And the park's going to be took over by the Smiler theming and the music and everything else. And then when that's done, I think the Smiler could be on a retrack very soon, but I think Oblivion should go first. Now, also, Inspeculation Oblivion, now it's going off a bit of a tangent, but in the Castle Manor, one of the tombstones said about Oblivion, I don't know what it's quite said, but it says something about Oblivion. Now, if you looked on the other tombstones, there was stuff like the Flume Unplugged by Imperial Leather, and just a Flume. You had Whipsaw, you had Charlie Bucket, Charlie and Chocolate Factory. We had Air, Around the World in 80 Days, Toyland Tours. God knows, I can't think of anything else. But yeah, Oblivion was on there. Now, Oblivion is the only functioning ride which was mentioned in that queue line. The rest was old signature rides which no longer are operating and are no longer, they're defunct and they're no longer there at the park. So could we see Oblivion going? Yeah, there was a corkscrew. Yes, there was. Sorry about that. There was a corkscrew. But yeah, my question is, could we see Oblivion going in like 2 years? Now, Nemesis is gone. So my theory is if they close Oblivion 2, then they've got a big issue. The park's attendance is going to go down so much. Because if you haven't got Oblivion, no, Oblivion's like the second oldest secret weapon, alongside the oldest roller coaster in the park now is the Runaway Mine Train. Can we see Oblivion going as secret weapon number 2 and be replaced with another drop-down coaster, which this time is actually vertical? Because even though this coaster is known as the world's first vertical drop, it's actually not. The angle is actually 98.8 degrees. No, 89.8 degrees. Which is not quite 90 degrees, which is not the vertical experience that you have. But that's because of the spring loads on the cars. So the Blade is older than mine. Train isn't. Yes, the Blade is the oldest ride in the park, but the oldest coaster is the Runaway Mine Train, and then it's Oblivion. But I still think Oblivion is going to go, and it's going to be replaced with a new coaster. Now that aspect of Don't Look Down in X Sector, it's what that ride, that signature ride, was the one that made the area X Sector the government facility. Now, I swear to God, one thing that Alton Towers should not do, and if you're listening to this, Alton Towers, I really, really advise you to listen. Please do not make Oblivion into any Retro Squad ride whatsoever, because from a experience that's so high up, there's no way you put in like some sort of ride that's going to go on top of that lift deal. It's a waste of time. That whole theming in the area and the queue, the advertisements, it's the only ride with TVs in it. And well, TVs. It's like a pre-show, but it's more like TVs and keeps you entertained because it is on a TV. Oh, and Galactica. Oh no, Galactica isn't. No, the queue line's actually got TVs on it. I really hope that they don't do anything stupid to that ride, and many people will be very disappointed. Like, I get it's the shortest ride in the park, but still, I don't know. I think they should get rid of the Blade first and replace that with a some sort of like no Retro Squad ride. So yeah. Anyways, thank you for joining me on Series 1, Episode 4 of Inspeculation Time. I do hope you have a good day, and please do subscribe to my YouTube, as I will be putting this on here. And please do follow me on Instagram. and Facebook. Thank you. Bye.